Thank you very much for attending my presentation today as one of the last presentations. Leveraging pattern object model for efficient test automation. If you Google this term, you're not going to find some explanation on the internet. It's just because I came to the definition of it, so I define it as such. Why pattern? I will explain you what I notice and why I call it pattern. So first of all, a short introduction about myself. My name is Gjore Zaharchev, Head of Quality Assurance at Qinshift, Southeast Europe. Qinshift is an international company, now in part in Bulgaria. So I'm 18 years. I have 18 years of experience working in automation, manual testing. I have worked in all different very different companies, and worked with very different clients. I'm also teaching software testing at Qinshift Academy in Macedonia and Serbia. So yeah, that's a short introduction about myself. So long time ago, we've heard that automation is going to replace us. Now we are hearing a lot that AI is going to replace us. So nothing of that happened, and I think that still will not happen. So the automation never replaced the manual testing, and never replaced also the need of more and more automation. Today I'm going to talk about a few things, about challenges. What are the current challenges that we are facing? So in order to solve some problems, in order to explain something, we need to have some sort of a challenge. Otherwise, it's just inventing hot water, which is already invented. What are the already known design patterns? And the thing that I call it pattern object model, explained very briefly, and how I came to a solution to the problem that we already had. So yeah, what are the challenges? The challenges are a lot. There are different kind of challenges, and we are facing the challenges, especially when you work in a big team with a lot of people, like 150 people. There are 150 multiplied by 10 challenges that we are facing. So the people challenges are the biggest one. We are facing a lot of challenges because we have a lot of testers, and most of them don't know programming. If they know programming, they will be developers, right? So if all of us are excellent with programming, we will be developers. We are not going to be testers in some sort of way. And we are having this challenge in order to produce good automated tests. So we need to have some experience with testing, and we need to have some experience with automation and with tools. Other problems that we are facing are that testers don't have time to learn programming. This is the biggest problem that all of us are facing, because we all have 8 hours of work. As manual testers, we all have 8 hours of work. When we are going to learn programming? So this is the problem. Either we are going to learn testing, automation, or we are going to focus on programming. So this is another challenge that is general problem to all of these people and to all of us here. And the problem is that the automation code, when it's written and when someone is leaving the company or the project, or just changing the project or changing the company, no one understands what that person wanted to write in the code. This is another big problem why I came to this solution as pattern object model, because the most difficult thing, and I will show you a few examples of a simple click, how differently it was written. So nobody understands what the author wrote, because someone, and most of us, when solving a problem, just copy-pasting from Stack Overflow, or now a lot of people using ChatGPT to generate some sort of code, and just copy-pasting without a need to adapt it and to be able to extend it. So this is another challenge that we need to overcome. Something else that is a little bit problematic is that our clients, all of our clients, usually not allowing less experienced people to focus on automation. They're saying, no, we are going to hire people from outside. Those people will come, will establish something. No one understands that. We'll leave the company, we'll leave the project, regardless if it's a big company, we'll go on another project to establish some sort of a framework, and then we are still returning to the beginning. We're still having the same problem: how to teach people how to learn automation, how to write better automated tests. The other problems that we are facing are tool challenges. So most of the tools that we are mentioning, most of the tools that are very fancy tools nowadays that are pretty interesting for all of us. So starting from Selenium WebDriver up to Playwright now as the latest tool. Those tools are still writing some code that most of the people cannot understand. Even Playwright is a way simplified than, or Cypress is a way simplified than as Selenium WebDriver, but still we are sorting out issues. I'm also teaching, I have courses as a Qinshift Academy. We have courses in Selenium WebDriver automation, Cypress automation, Playwright automation. And people, these courses are especially for people with at least 5 years of experience, and we're noticing that people do not understand the concepts of programming. It's difficult for them to understand the concept of the design patterns, so it's very difficult. Even the tasks that we are giving, already explained several times how it works. The solutions that they are providing are still with these, how to say, very basic tests, just writing the regular commands and repeating that in all of the tests without using some common design patterns. So yeah, as I said, the tools that are the code, the tests are not human readable. So someone will say, yeah, we will go with Cucumber and we will solve the problem. No, we are not going to solve the problem, because someone needs to write the code at the end of the day. Someone needs to write the logic in the background. You're going to write your test as some human understandable language, but that does not do any automation. That is just writing some manual tests, so nothing beyond that. Easy knowledge transfer. So this is the key concept why I came to this way of thinking, because the knowledge transfer is pretty easy. People don't need to understand programming. They just need to understand the manual testing and the actions that they are doing. And the idea is to extend the framework to fit your needs. On some of the presentations I've heard today about how some framework may die, like Protractor did. So that's why my idea of writing this framework is to be able to be extended with any library outside of that, to be easily replaced. So if Selenium dies at some point, we should be able to replace this framework immediately with another tool with the same language. So this is the idea, and this is the concept that solves this idea. What are the known design patterns? Yeah, right now we have the page object model for Selenium WebDriver, Playwright, and so on and so on, and application actions for Cypress. We also had Page Factory for Selenium WebDriver a long time ago, but yeah, we don't have it anymore. So what's the idea behind the page object model? Code reuse, maintainability, readability of the code. But again, when you see and when you check all of your page objects, you're repeating the same two commands. So you're repeating the same two things over and over again. And why writing it so complicated when you can simplify that? The same thing with application actions. The application actions, they're saying, don't need to write the page objects, but instead write the actions. But some people are still using page object behind that, writing the application actions, so complicating a little bit more and more and more. So instead of having one layer of maintenance, we have more than 5 layers of maintenance. If you put Cucumber on top on that, so imagine how much layers for maintenance you have. So this is not a solution for modern problems, because the focus is on writing frameworks. The focus is not on writing tests. We are here to focus on writing tests. We are not here to focus on writing framework and explaining the frameworks when we go to work, and we are paid for focused on tests. How a simple click looks like in very different implementations. So there are more than 13. I took like 6 or 7 because it will need more time. So someone will put it as an implicit wait. Oh, what happened? Ah, here. So someone will put it as an implicit wait. Simply, we'll do the click. It's not going to work with the new modern applications. Someone else will define web element, and then we'll do some actions with the web element, and we'll try to complicate the things a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing that was done previously on the previous slide. So when someone needs to maintain this code, it will have problems to understand what the author wanted, because we have millions of web elements defined as variables, as objects. Someone will do on this way, where we'll try to simplify it by this should be private. I put them without modifier, but someone will say these should be private because they're not used outside of that. So we'll reinvent the hot water. Then another way, by using explicit wait, because this is more, how to say, better for the modern applications. This is more reliable for the modern applications, but again, repeating this same code, at least the third line of code, repeating millions of times is just wasting a lot of time on doing that. Someone will do this way, but irrelevant. If we take the page object model, how it's defined, the idea behind the page object model is to define for every action at the page, for every page at your application to have a separate class, and then for every action to have a separate method that will do something. But usually we define this these methods as void. They're doing something. We don't define them as at least web element, type of web element, or type of class. So we can not do a method chaining. So we need to invoke them one by one. So instead of simplifying the code, so this is the original design of page object model. It's designed for this, so you should be able to change all the methods. So instead of having like the application actions from Cypress, if you chain all the methods, you will achieve the same thing. And you are more flexible to do different actions with that. But again, this is doing still a lot of changes in the code. So the question is, do we need to reinvent the wheel? Anyone, what's your opinion? Of course, we need to reinvent constantly the wheel. If we don't reinvent the wheel will never get to Mars. So this is one of the strongest wheels in the world that is able to move on Mars. Today's applications are more advanced and more complex than the applications 20 years ago, when Selenium was some recording tool, some playback recording tool that, and people thought that we are going to record the test and they are going to do something. So what's the idea? What I have identified actually, what was my solution? I noticed that people understand actions like button and link click. Why I put it link click also, because I was explaining to a colleague, and for button click you have this action, and now his challenge was to solve a link click, and he's saying, yeah, but that command is for button click. That command should not work here because this is something else. And what I did in the framework, I created an object of the class button that I defined it, doing the same action in the behind, but he thinks that these are two different implementations. So I solved the problem according to his knowledge about the application. So the idea is for people without automation knowledge to come up to to be involved in writing automated tests. If you have someone who is writing manual test cases and someone who is reading that and automating things, you didn't achieve anything. You just wasted a lot of time of two people, not only on one, two people wasted time. Then people understand input fields. What we can write in the input fields, we can type text. I think that only Cypress have the correct function for this, because in Playwright it's fill. So it's not native to understand it as fill, as a command. People, what means fill? So they understand type. I can type text, I can clear text, right? Then what we can do with the browser. So if you need to deal with browsers, it's a real mess. So usually the challenges are each project writes its own framework, and all of these things are Googled on each project separately and solved within weeks again. So no one solve it on one place and reuse it. Everyone is solving on different projects differently. So yeah, we can do a lot of actions. These are just simple, but at the end of the day, we just need 2 actions from Selenium WebDriver, let's say. The same thing is from Playwright. We just need to return either one element or a list of elements and do some actions with them. So if you have these methods and if you understand programming, you don't need page object models, you don't need complicating the layers, you just invoke these 2 methods. So you will simplify the code. You can call them A and B, and just call A and B always, like the Selenium has the $sign method, and you can call them with a $sign. I use the $sign in my framework for reading from property files like environments and stuff like that because I use Java and there is no solution for Java to deal environments on an easier way, so I wrote my solution. Yeah, these are all the actions that I was able to identify and provide a solution in one single framework. In all the frameworks, we need the same solutions. But the idea is not to Google them separately and put them as solutions as some workarounds, but the idea is to have workable solution on every project and always. So if something we need to change in one of these classes, that should work on all of the projects. So what is the solution? I put the project on GitHub. Jetpack is building a jar with a new version, and everyone is just changing the version of the framework in his framework, and he has the latest version of this framework. So it also works with mobile, with Appium, so we can put gestures, and we can put different actions of Appium. For implementing REST API tests, we don't need to reinvent the wheel because we can use REST Assured or any other library. So if we need to change this from Selenium WebDriver into Playwright, we don't need to change in these classes, but we need to change, where it was, oops, sorry. Oops, 1 second, sorry. Can you return it again? I think that I pressed the wrong button. So, as I said, if we need to switch, we need to change into, where it was, I think, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we need to change into these 2 methods. And we will have immediately switch from Selenium WebDriver into Playwright. How much time will take? We don't need to change anything in these classes because they don't have custom logic. If you need to separate something, custom logic, someone will say, yeah, but I need some logic, some calculation. You need to write common methods, common functions that will be able to be reused. So if you need to use some custom data, usually I'm seeing people how they're writing logic for generating random data. Why you don't use some faker libraries? You have Java faker library, C# faker, JavaScript faker library. So you can generate a lot of data that they have in their libraries. Why you don't implement some of these libraries? Even if no one is supporting in the next 100 years, it will do your job. If they are not supporting, the library is still there, it will do the trick. It will be valid still. So you don't need to worry, are they going to support it or not? Yeah, summary. Basically, this is the concepts that I came up on my mind and in practice actually, that I solved a problem where we were able to put people without automation knowledge on projects where they were writing actual automated tests. The good thing is that these people are not focusing on writing frameworks, and they're not wasting the time in writing frameworks, but they're focused on writing tests. We are having tests on day 1. To establish this as a new project, you need 20 minutes, and because it's already tested for any continuous integration, in order to adjust it to any continuous integration, it takes like 5 to 10 minutes. You already have everything prepared. Same like Playwright. When you install Playwright, by default, you're installing GitHub Actions YAML file. So the same thing here. So if you optimize it, you will be able to run it on every once. You will be able to run it on every continuous integration engine. In this framework, we have integrated MailSlurp, Mailinator. We have integrated work with databases. So easily, you can call some action, you can call some method, and be able to use it regardless of the project. If we add some need for specific project, something that is new, immediately will be available on all the projects that will take the latest version, just changing in the Gradle or Maven. You can use both of them because this is Java example, so it's pretty easy. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.